Hey, so I filmed this Skyrim-based D&D 5e one-shot with my best boy Caleb here, pictured going like this. I filmed it a little while ago. You can tell because my beard was shorter and my hair was shorter. Um, we filmed it in the gaming space of Perennial, which is the apothecary bookstore that I run with my wife Lena. This was partially a birthday present to Caleb. We're both huge Skyrim fans. We talk about it when we go on bike rides. We build Magic the Gathering decks based on Skyrim. We shout Fus Roda. We just shout Fus to one another occasionally when we see each other crossing the street or whatever. So I've been wanting to run this for a while, and we finally got the chance a few months ago. The recording is not the best, but it's pretty okay. It's a little granular. This was the first time like trying to record something in the gaming space in the shop. So all that, considered, I'd say it came out pretty well. Um, and I hope you watch it and enjoy it. There's some sound design in there. There's some copyrighted music. We're not trying to make any money off of it. We just wanted to capture our friendship in this context, in this game. And I think it really shows. Caleb's my guy, so I was very blessed to be able to spend this one-on-one time with him and kind of journey through the nostalgic landscape from both of our childhoods. So there are more videos to come. We're going to record more as well when we both have some time, but we have this first recording, which is like an hour or so long, maybe a little bit longer. And then we have a part 2 that I'm still editing that I'll put out there pretty soon. But for now, this is the intro to the Skyrim campaign. So sit back, relax, and give it a watch. Thanks. So let's just imagine the environment that you find yourself in first. Cold, frigid even. Foreboding. The wind is sharp against your skin. You can tell that it's nighttime by the surrounding sounds of the woodland creatures. Time seems to be endless. You're in a sort of suspended state here. Asleep, maybe. Suddenly, you awake to the sound of a great boom that echoes across the land, causing birds to flee their roosts and nearby woodland creatures, both small and large, mortal and fey, to slip back into their caverns and crevices. You sense, then, that you had not been asleep, but in some sort of fugue state. Your eyes feel tired, your neck in pain, as if a dagger had been lodged into your vertebrae. As you become more and more self-aware with each passing second, you quickly realize that you are leaning over a basin of ice formed in the hollow of an upturned stump. You see your ice-warped reflection in the frozen basin. What do you look like? Character creation.
Yeah. Dude, with the music, that was so good. That's so good. Oh my gosh. And my character's just like bobbing his head slowly while I choose what his ears look like.
Yeah, exactly. Or he goes like this.
Oh man. Every character creation I do is me.
Yeah.
I'll do Brett and me,
Brett and you.
but in my full Skyrim potential.
Yes.
Fair, freckled skin, beard bigger than mine has ever been, long, shoulder length, reddish brown hair, one braid, in full Skyrim apparel. My size, probably heftier, stronger, but also still tubby.
Mm.
Not like superhero version of me.
You're
Oh.
not tubby.
I'm not tubby. Well, I got a little tub.
Well, okay. Everybody's got a little
I
bit.
got a lot of tub.
We're gonna cut this part out.
Probably maybe a little bit older, a little more experience in the world, maybe in my early 30s.
Yeah. Okay.
So established in
Which
who I
are-
am, what my ethics are, who I spend my time with, what I'm seeking, and right now that's simplicity and interest of what else is out there, but with little incentive to do so. So I see the opportunities, and at my age, there's opportunity for it, but there's no push.
Excellent. We see that. We'll picture it from your character's eyes, as you're kind of like hunched over, your hands on either side of the stump. And we get a glimpse of your face, and then you exhale, and your warm breath becomes steam, and then it fogs the ice, and the image of you is just kind of lost in the haze there. It is nighttime, but as your kind of peripheral vision starts to come back to you after this fugue state, or whatever happened, you can see just out of the far corners of your eyes, off the edge of a distant hill, the first pastel light of dawn just starting to eke out over the horizon. I'll turn over to you.
If I look around, what do I see?
Clean snow, almost as flat as that pane of ice that you're looking at, in all directions. You're in a young forest. The trees are tall, but the trunks are quite thin, and you're clearly like in the wilderness. As your kind of mind comes back to you, you would know that this is not where you should be at this hour.
So is it familiar to me? I'm not at home.
You're not at home.
I'm not at home.
Right.
Okay. Based off of my surroundings, could I make a good guess of where I am?
That sounds like
A roll.
perception check. Perception or survival, I would say.
Both are +1. 18.
Which one would you choose, perception or survival? Perception's
Perception.
just like... Okay, survival is like to track things.
Yeah. I would have chosen perception.
Okay. You would know that this place is not familiar to you. There are no landmarks either that jump out at you. And you roll quite high, so I'll say on top of that, it's clear to you that a young forest such as this would likely exist near either a town, which has probably logged it before or used it as a resource, or as part of a logging operation or something like that.
Oh.
So most of the forests, the woodland areas around here are old, gnarled, like well established. This is not that.
And at this time, where would I be?
Right.
Would I be at home sleeping?
I believe you would be, yeah. I mean, what does your character get up to
Right.
in the early hours of the morning in Whiterun?
Other than drinking and
Listening to Bard's song.
listening
and
to
looking
Bard.
at-
Yeah.
Yeah, ankles.
Ankles. Yeah, I mean, my character would probably be feeling like I'm in a dream. I'd probably like be rubbing my eyes and looking around, and I would catch a glimpse of the light coming up from the ground of ever so slightly, and that would draw my attention. I would probably begin to slowly tread towards it.
Yes.
Just naturally in this thought process, I'm like, what, like, where am I? Like, what am I? Like, I'm dreaming. I have to be dreaming. And I would probably, as I'm doing that, just start to slowly walk in that direction as I kind of recollect myself. Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. We see you kind of like pull yourself away from the stump, but your hands, your palms are frozen to it.
My palms are frozen to the stump?
Yeah, when
Oh
you
my
pull
God.
your hands away, it feels
So
like
sound like this?
Yeah. Well, I think that's your character, your intention.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
as soon as we go to press play on that, you pull and your hands kind of like, you feel your like fingertips unstick, but this part of your hand is still just, if you pull hard enough to get them off, it feels like it's gonna tear your flesh.
How can I feel my lips?
No, your extremities are pretty numb.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smart.
Anything?
Yeah. After a few breaths, the first one outward, you can feel your hands starting to warm just barely. And as you take another breath in, you hear off in the distance.
I would snap to that immediately. Do I know what direction it's coming in?
You loop your head around, your braid is frozen. It's coming from generally behind you.
Okay.
And you turn around to keep breathing?
Yes.
Alright. Another breath. You can feel your palms start to release from the ice slowly. This part of your hand, yeah, is still frozen there. And then you start to hear breaking through the icy top layer of the snow. And you take another breath. Another howl. Behind you, off to a different side. 2 creatures coming down. The third breath releases your hands entirely. And they kind of like come up for a moment like this. And they're red.
Fuck! And I'd whip around. Immediately.
As soon as you turn around, 2 just low shadowed creatures come to a halt about 40 and 60-ish feet away from you, responding to your attention.
I reach for my weapon. Do I have it?
You do. What's your weapon?
My battle axe. My one-handed axe.
Show me how you draw the axe.
Like, prepared.
Yeah, slowly.
So, my hands out. I whip around, my hands out. If I see creatures, the first thing I'm doing is putting my hand on the hilt. At least.
Yes.
On the handle.
Right. When you grab the handle, you feel your hand start to freeze to the handle as well.
Oh my god. No!
This
I cast Burning Hands.
Shit, now I have to rewrite this whole thing. When you reach for it, the creature's heads get lower, and you can see the sunlight off on the horizon starting to catch in their eyes. These are clearly wolves. And you look like easy prey to them. Or you did, only a few moments ago. But now you can see the intelligence in their eyes. They're considering how to move, what to do.
In old Skyrim fashion, what do you do the first time you run upon wolves? You start swinging, baby. I had an idea and I said, what's the first thing I did when I saw wolves in Skyrim? I beat their ass. You bet your ass I'm drawing my weapon and swinging it.
You pull it out, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you can see their breath as they're kind of waiting there. When you pull the blade out, their breath slows. Just small tendrils of smoke rather than billowing clouds.
I've killed wolves before. This is nothing.
Yeah.
They're everywhere in Skyrim. Everywhere.
The wolf that's closer to you whips its head to the side quickly, and regards the other wolf. The other wolf looks at it, and they start to move in a sort of circumventing motion, like they're trying to pincer attack you. I
would take steps back as they create their circle. I assume it's getting wide, but my instinct would to be create space between me and the wolves at first.
If you walk backward, you're going to pass by that tree stump. And you do. You can see that the ice has melted, and there's a pool of like crystalline water there. Almost like ethereal blue. Like glacial, almost. And then, just right when you catch that, you hear the wolves snarl, and they begin to charge toward you. And we're gonna roll for initiative against these wolves.
Oh.
Nat 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a nat 1.
Wow.
Fuck.
You do start with a point of inspiration from somewhere.
Well, is a critical failure for an initiative gonna do anything to me?
You're just gonna, well,
Be last.
yeah. So it's not gonna, yeah.
No,
it's not gonna
I'm
really-
gonna let it happen. I don't want to use my inspiration on that.
Sounds good.
I'd rather re-roll a 1 trying to sway an ankle-having person.
Oh, geez, chill. Say no
Let me
more.
see them ankles, baby. If I survive this wolf attack, I got stories.
That's
That's
true.
what I'm thinking. I'm thinking shit.
What's your dex bonus?
Bonus?
Yeah.
+2.
+2, alright, so you get a 3 technically.
Yeah, technically, but I don't know if that. Yeah, 3. I forgot it's technically not a critical failure in initiative. It's just a 1.
As you steel yourself against these predators, just get here back into it. You hear voice whispered on the cold morning wind. What's your character's name?
Delvin. What? No. Sorry.
What? Who is it? Fuck you
The
want?
wolves are.
They go.
Yeah, it's 2 focuses. Okay, so hear my name. I'm sure I would hear it, but I'm face to face with animals that I've fought before. It would take more than my name on the wind to distract me, I believe, unless you made me roll for it, from being laser focused on what's in front of me right now.
Okay.
Unless it said something else to me. I'm sure I heard it.
There, it says your name, it catches your attention, and then you almost, I think just barely perceptible, there's another utterance that you could choose to pay attention to or not. Your choice. I think though, yeah, right, you would be laser focused, right?
Yeah, I mean they're about to pounce at me.
Yeah,
and I've sure as hell been in this situation before.
let's check
I'm
your-
sure this feels different. I mean, I'm in an unfamiliar place. I'm in the cold, which I'm not used to anyways.
Right.
I'm from Whiterun. I don't really, as the seasons change, Whiterun, I don't think experiences a multitude of weather change. Granted, 2011 didn't really allow that much anyways, but I think that is still true.
Okay.
Whiterun's winters are not heavy.
Yeah.
They're still harvestable.
Right. I will defer to you on that certainly, because I'm not.
So yeah, I'm in an unfamiliar place. I just woke up. I'm seeing a pool of. I mean, this is the most exciting thing that might have happened to me in the first 5 minutes of this session. Like, granted, the wolves are not unfamiliar, but the wolves, do they feel unfamiliar? Do I feel even more? Do I feel like this is a different matchup than I'm used to?
Interesting.
Because of where I am, it feels like a dream still. I'm definitely saying to myself, this is a dream, this is a dream, this is a dream.
I would say you could make an insight check or a nature check to determine what goes on with these wolves here.
Nature or insight?
Yeah, insight is to kind of read them as creatures in the moment, and nature is to kind of pull on your understanding of how they should act normally.
I'm gonna roll insight.
Okay. Yeah,
To 4 people.
it's
It's
you
okay.
probably
The
get a
good rolls are
bonus.
gonna be for later.
Yeah, I mean you're level 2, so you probably get a bonus, but 4 is not gonna avail.
No,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
you get
yeah,
like
yeah.
a huge bonus, which you don't.
All right. I
Okay.
mean, I'm gonna tap into whatever I'm hearing. For
What's
sure.
your passive perception?
11.
11. Okay, yeah. So even with your laser focus, you don't have to concede that, because I think that's true. You would be like, I heard something maybe, but I'm about to fucking die.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but with your laser focus, this voice seems to still penetrate to the core for you.
Hmm.
It says, "Be still."
What does that mean? I mean, what are the wolves doing as I hear that?
They were kind of like starting to move toward you. The wind whispered as described, and they slowed. And they're just kind of like trying to read you again. Now about 20 and 40 feet away.
I'm still not convinced I'm not in a dream.
Mm.
That I'm not dreaming. I've never heard anything like this before. To me, this could be one of the gods. This could be a Daedric prince. It would definitely be shocking. I'm gonna slowly lower my weapon.
As the weapon lowers, the creature's heads, almost like a balance, you know what I mean? Start to raise their heads up. And they blink and they look at you and at each other and at you. One of the wolves that's directly across from you starts to slowly pad over with his ears up, its head up. It seems curious rather than aggressive in this moment.
Let's say curious.
And the upturned stump is in between you and the creature. And as it approaches, it seems to be more interested in the stump. Your situational awareness would still tell you the other wolf is behind you, but you don't hear the crunching of snow to evidence its approach or anything like that.
I would start to back away from the one walking in my direction. Oh, you said it's if the stump is between me and the wolf, and I see it walking towards the stump. If I see that its interest is on it, I'm assuming that it wants it for whatever source it is. I would fully return my weapon to my side, show body language of the space is yours, and proceed to walk backwards, like turn my body, knowing that if one's situated behind me and one's in front of me, I would turn this way to try and give them both the space to go to it.
That seems to work in your favor. As you change your body language, take a couple steps back, the wolves more quickly move toward your location, but they don't move toward you. They both kind of disappear below the tree stump now that you're a few steps back, and then after a few moments their heads kind of look up and over it into the pool of water, and they begin to lap it up. They drink the water.
As they lap it and I see, like a dog drinking water, splash damage, do I see in this like dark, almost hazy morning a little bit of light? It's still dark. Obviously I was seeing the glow of their eyes. Is this liquid transparent like water as they lap it up, or does it look like a rich like blueberry jam, or like you know what I'm saying? Does it have like a teal? Does it look like crazy? Does it look like they're lapping up blue honey?
It does. Yeah, it's not regular water, and it's disappearing quickly as they drink it. You can see it kind of coating their tongues as well. And unless you want to do anything, they will likely finish it.
I don't know what that shit is.
Yeah.
I want out of there.
This would be your time to leave.
Yeah, I'm out. If
You-
they're focused, I'm leaving.
They are. Yeah.
Okay.
As you begin to turn to step away to head back to wherever you need to go, home probably, you can see that they don't even look up as they're drinking to regard your exit.
Hmm.
They seem transfixed by it. And so, quickly, you leave their vicinity and enter into this different sort of haze. Not atmospheric, but caused instead by a bunch of very thin, small, like bare gray branches that are all kind of intertwined upon one another from all these young trees trying to beat the other to the highest point here. And they're easy to push aside. They're not brittle. They snap back when you move through them. And after about 4 or 5 minutes of walking carefully in the snow into this bramble, you begin to feel safe. Safer than before. And we'll say maybe you take a moment to pause there, and you hear them howl again.
Capo sounds.
Oh.
Oh. I mean, I'm like, every second that I can, I'm looking at my surroundings. I'm like, going through this brush. I feel relief. I hear them howl. I know they're in the distance. They're not. It's not. It's as far as it sounds to that stump. Correct? The howl that I hear.
Survival check, please.
Okay.
I like to get the dice rolling early.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. 4. I don't know shit.
Well, here's the thing. It's wisdom based.
Like-
We'll use your passive wisdom, which is not a 4.
Right.
And given your heightened awareness, you'd certainly be able to tell how close or far they are from the stump and you. They're farther away.
Okay. So I feel safe. I know I'm safe from them. I'd be like, okay, what is happening? I'd be like, I'd take a breather. Look at my hands. I imagine all worn.
Yes. Red, raw.
I'd be freezing. You know, I'm used to warm weather. I've traveled in cold weather, but this I imagine is like I'd been there. Feels like I'd been there for a long time. Probably cold in my core. My lips feel cold. I'm cold. Am I dressed for this?
No.
Yeah, I'm like I'm not dressing like this normally. I wouldn't dress for this type of weather on a regular day. If I were to have been transported here, I'm in, you know, my clothing is made from hide and animals, but it's not meant for cold weather. It's meant for casual, warm, working. I'm supposed to break a sweat in what I'm wearing probably. So I'm cold.
Yes.
So my first thought is warmth. I'm probably like, shit. Like, I need to get out of here. So, like, where do I go? I'm like probably talking to myself. Like, so I feel safe from that moment. I don't feel warmth. I'm in this thicket. Is there a direction that I would travel? Like a very clear just path that I would go towards?
Yeah, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, so you can probably use it to navigate toward where home should be. And we can say that you just generally move in that direction.
And I would do so, absolutely.
Yeah, you're moving through this like hazy thicket, moving the branches aside, and the sun just kind of continues to slowly rise in the direction that you're traveling. The forest begins to become more colorful. The leaves here, after about 10 minutes of walking, become red like winterberry or mountain flower. And they start quite high up, thin layer of the canopy at first, but as you continue forward, the canopy becomes more flush and full, and you can feel the ground start to crest downward as if you're descending into a more lighted area. And the sun does shine quite beautifully here, and you do feel some warmth from it. You've been walking for about 25 to 30 minutes now, and you can hear the ice on the branches, the snow overhead start to melt and drip down, little pitter patters on the snow. The icy layer on top of the snow is much easier to break, thinner. You're almost like walking on powder at this point, when the thicket just sort of ends, opens up, and you're afforded a vista that words struggle and often fail to describe. Even the most elegant bard song flounders when attempting to translate the ethereal mountaintop view of the region of Skyrim, much of which you can see from here. You're extraordinarily high up. You're on a mountaintop.
Shit.
There's a speck on the landscape at the bottom of the mountain that even from this distance you can recognize as your home of Whiterun.
I could. Holy cow.
It's gonna be
I'm at the top of the steps. Maybe. Whoa. Here's your song. Perfect timing.
my favorite song.
Wow. I mean, I'd be in awe. I'd be like, my God.
This is the classic landscape reveal. Yeah. Off in the distance, rising over a mountaintop with a decrepit barrow, you see a serpent of the sky gliding, occasionally flapping its wings, though you get the sense it doesn't have to. It's more just a show of force to the creatures below. A dragon, far off in the distance, writhes in the sky, disappearing behind clouds, reappearing for a moment. And after a few moments, it just disappears behind the mountaintop in the distance.
Are dragons familiar to me?
Yes, at this point they are.
Okay. The moment, I mean, seeing home and seeing that there would be so many feelings, but the experience that's laid before me, breaking through the clearing as the snow melts and my feet start to sink in to where it becomes a muddy snow, and then onto the rock that cascades me to the top of the peak, and just breaking over that clearing and seeing the dragon, I'd be awe, just like, almost like that was the relief I needed, but also the question of at being asked of like, it's like in that moment I know it was real, but how, like, it also is still dreamlike, even though like in that moment it's like, this is reality, that's my home, this is where I'm from, like this is my region, I know where I am, but how am I here? And just like pure awe. No words.
It's the sublimity of it all. Yeah.
And I would soak that in. My character would soak that in. Would use that moment as like, I might not experience a height like this. So looking at the peak, if I look, after that, I'm looking around me. Would I know where I am seeing my home? I'm at what am I at, the tallest peak?
Surrounding it. Yeah, it's
I'm hundreds of miles away from my home.
Yeah.
Right? I assume.
Hundreds of miles.
Skyrim, it's like a 25-minute walk. You know what I mean? But
I would say it is amazing to you that you made it this far in the cold of night and you are alive. It is not the steps. I don't know if your character knows about the steps. Is that a well-known...
The 40,000 steps or the whatever?
To the graveyards?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is well-known. Especially to the people of Riverwood, where it resides.
I see.
Riverwood? I think it's Riverwood. Or
Riverwood's that first...
Riverwood's the first town. It starts with an I.
Does it look like a ram or a goat or something?
No, that's a Markarth? No, it's not Markarth.
Well,
We'll keep doing our research as far.
well, actually, I have a gift to bequeath unto you.
Is it a printed out Skyrim?
It's the map that came with the game when you first bought it.
Yo, Tristan had this hung up in his freaking room, dude.
Yeah.
Where'd you get this?
I bought the game and it came with it.
Yeah,
You see
dude.
this map?
Yeah, dude. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh,
Hey.
it is Markarth.
Here. I'll say your character is
Check it out, chat.
carrying this.
Yeah, like this.
He's
I'm
like,
like, alright, where the fuck am I?
if that doesn't work for you, I also printed a much smaller pocket version of the map.
I would like that for play.
Yeah.
But this is sick.
Yeah.
This out of game talk, like, it was one of those things that Tristan hung on his wall, and like a turned page, it found its like wear on the wall. Like something on a wall doesn't get touched, but for some reason it was there for so long.
As it should
Like
be.
I think it's still there
Yeah.
at his parents' house, and it's like it's tattered,
I have a
like
funny
an old book. Like it's, I love it.
I know. That's had some usage as well. I have a funny story about it. Quick aside. So I went to Sweden. I went to Sweden once, a few years ago on an artist residency, and my mom was like, she'd never been happier.
Iverstead.
Iverstead.
Yeah, let's keep going.
And when I got back, I had collected some of these maps from Sweden that I kept like just in a box in her basement. I didn't have a place to put it because I was living in the dorms. And I left home to go back to college for a week or two. Came back to my mom's house, and she had hung that up, thinking that it was a map of Sweden. It looks so Swedish.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I mean,
the influence is clearly there.
it's so sweet that she did that, you know. And
That is a great. Imagine, yeah, as a kid,
it's like
or
brought
as
my
an adult,
favorite
just,
thing.
Yeah, just seeing that and being
Yeah,
like,
there.
oh, mom.
Yeah. So your character has that rolled up of any size that you would prefer, but you can use that to locate yourself as needed. I'm a big believer in the physical map for a game. It's very necessary.
Yeah, it's very helpful, and I know it pretty well, but seeing it is helpful.
So a few moments after that dragon passes and you're just kind of sundered by this view, a little butterfly just kind of like comes into view, flying from somewhere behind you. It's blue, almost the same color as the liquid in the tree stump. It just kind of flutters in view for a moment. It was traveling, and when you kind of glimpse it, it's just kind of there, around your head for a few moments. It like flutters down and perches on your finger. And you can see, right when it touches down, ice begins to just spread across your flesh. And it's not cold.
Not painful.
It doesn't hurt.
Huh. Curious.
You hear the wind whisper to you once more.
What is that?
Do you listen?
I listen.
Then chosen. The butterfly starts to flutter away, but the ice remains. There's a few moments that pass, and it begins to melt until there's just a patch of it in your palm.
Huh.
And you can see a rune formed by it there.
Yo.
It would resemble the rune of a god.
My god, I'm trying familiar.
I believe so. Let's see.
Oh. Ah.
Exactly. Play it.
Yeah, I forget the song. Oh, fuck. As the music cascades, I lift my hand and I look at the rune swelling in between the cracks of my skin.
Yeah, it starts to glow. There's an explosion of magic that shoots up from somewhere
Yes!
behind you into the sky. And you should choose your sign. Mage, thief, or warrior?
Whoa! Whoa! The stones!
You're predisposed to one of them based on how you
Wow.
interacted with the wolves there. But you, of course, can always override those things.
Was I predisposed by the thief?
That would be probably thief because you chose
To
to...
sneak away.
Yeah. You were also kind of told to, but you chose to listen. But sometimes a warrior knows when not to fight as well.
So, in the game, I get to pick them, I get to click them and see what the buffs are.
Yeah, so if speaking in terms of mechanics, if you pick mage...
Yeah, and you don't have to disclose that if you don't want to.
Oh, okay.
I'll leave that. That's just me being silly.
Well, you would feel with mage a sense of like greater capacity to cast. With warrior, you feel this kind of like warmth come over you and kind of push away the cold that's been impending for so long. And with the thief, there would be a breath or two that you exhale, and no steam can be seen.
This is so
You
good.
have to let it ride.
I'm just like whooshes by my head, the freaking hair, just like any frozen icicles left on my hair, just like blow off.
Look at it. You can see
Freaking
it.
glorious. I reach my hand to the sky, I can pull a comet down. I would inherently be drawn to the mage.
Okay. Yeah.
Everybody at home, we're listening to music. Nobody can
I'll
hear.
play it.
You kind of play it in the background just ever so slightly. Otherwise, I'm just going like
You're just
this.
vibing.
I'm just going. Ah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, so the mage, yes. So that symbol like forms on your hand, and there is another symbol kind of superimposed on it. You have like two forces coalescing here at once. This would be, yes, thank you. The let's see. The symbol of Kain or Kinnereth. And your character can make a religion check to see if they know.
Kinrith?
Yeah, Kinnereth.
Yeah. You said religion?
Yeah.
Ooh, 21.
Jeez.
Big brain move, bro.
Kinnereth
I'm like, I know that, bro.
is a Nordic god who is commonly associated with the sky, weather, and natural phenomenon in general. It seems you have received Kinnereth's blessing,
Oh.
and further, I think that you're not sure what that means for you yet, but I think suddenly you feel as though the environment that you had just found yourself in, ominous as it was a sort of care given to you.
Mm.
There's some sort of awakening that had occurred. And that just series of events all the way up until this moment was destined for you. You were destined for it. And then you would hear the word Dragonborn echoing in your mind, whispered by the wind. there's one of those montage moments where you remember more clearly what had just happened. You snapped to consciousness the sound of a loud boom that had almost shook the realm. As if something godlike shouted.
So I connect the two.
Do you think you could, in this moment, your character could make sense of this? Or would it just kind of wash over you? What do you think? No wrong answers.
I hit right bumper.
You draw your weapon?
No, it's the boost.
It doesn't happen. You have some more work to do to get there, probably. Out of game, I'm telling you this.
Boost. Ah.
Some guy is just like standing there and he's like,
Jesus Christ!
he goes like this down the mountain the whole way.
No.
There's a video out there somewhere of like a guy snowboarding with his dog, and he sees the dog for a moment, and they're going down the hill, and he looks away, and he looks back, and the dog is just head over heels, start wheeling. The dog's like, he's like, oh shit, that's my dog. Poor thing.
Oh, dog.
But that Foos Rodin might do that.
Okay. So I connect the boom that woke me to the serenity of the magic that I feel.
I think
Or
it's
the,
more of like
the wellness that I feel.
it's like an awakening. Yeah,
Awakening.
yeah. You
In
feel
what regard? I feel enlightened.
there is
the
a
feeling.
spark in you. It's like a sort of like excitement.
So I pop a perk.
Yes.
How like, but no joke. Like
You
almost
like
like, maybe a little bit floaty, like
Yeah.
a high kind of.
The
like,
serenity was a good word. Yeah. There was fear, there was danger,
now
the
there's just
adrenaline, and it's just this calm, cool
like,
breeze.
like the butterfly.
It's kind of like the cold was kind of fighting its way in, but it made its way in, and it's okay. You're not trying to push it out. You're not trying to get warm anymore. You're just kind of embraced by the cold.
Do my runes just exist on the hands like scars, or?
Yeah, it looks, when you pulled your hands off, it was red. You just have like kind of like a raw runic mark on the inside of your palm.
And what does it say again?
It's a symbol. It doesn't say anything.
Oh, right.
It's a symbol of
The god.
the mage and Kinnereth. We can probably find the runes for that.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
okay. We can do that later when we're not immersed.
Yeah, or you could potentially design it first.
Do that. Okay. I mean, I would live in that pretty comfortably. I would still feel. I mean, this whole experience is still very dreamlike. It's like cascading emotions, starting from fear, survival, and then to awe and serenity. It's like kind of like the processing of grief to where I'm in that present, just peaceful state, and I kind of just want to sit in that if that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, in the front of my mind is I need to get home. I have friends, I have obligations, I have to be by my mother's side, help my mother. If this is real, I don't know how I got up here. I would have never. I mean, it's almost godlike that I'm here. Nobody could have dragged me there. In fact, I couldn't have gotten there if. Do I remember anything from when I awoke? Before that?
Oh.
Did I go to bed? Do I know if I was sleeping? Do I know if. Can I recollect that? Can I do that now?
It's hazy. It's dark. You're searching through your mind as the sun just begins to become visible between a few mountains in the distance. And the last thing you remember is putting your mom to bed that night and wandering out into the cold streets of Whiterun toward the tavern.
That's the last thing I can recall.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. There is no physical possible way for me to be where I am from point, unless it's been multiple days, right?
Right. It
There's
would.
no way.
Yeah.
Or a dragon picked me up.
If you had sprinted straight up the side of the mountain, you would be dead.
Right.
So, there's that. If there's a foot trail, it's likely that it winds around the mountain corkscrew style.
Mm.
That makes it much longer of a trip. It just seems, yeah, all around, like, impossible. And you do, sense the presence of a deity here.
Can I attune to whatever force of magic just marked me? Can I get into touch with that a little bit more intentionally?
Yeah, how would you like to do that? What do you think you would do?
I would probably sit by the peak. And do I know this as the god Kenrith?
Did you roll a religion check?
Yeah.
And
I
you rolled a
21.
21. Yeah, you do know that.
I imagine that as one of the gods, I would pray to Kenrith. So I would probably take the opportunity to try that and see what happens.
Okay.
If I feel a presence of godliness, I know the people of Skyrim they are quite spiritual.
Mhm.
They either are or they aren't.
Right.
And if I just got marked by a marking of what I would know to be a deity, right?
Mhm.
I would probably pray to them.
Okay. Describe to me how you would do that, if you could, please.
I would probably work my way to the edge of the peak, situate myself and sit down. I mean, I would probably, my prayer would almost be like my experience in that moment, to be in such a godlike presence on a peak overlooking almost the entirety of Skyrim, in awe of that, and almost as a quiet invitation in that moment. I don't know my character well enough in the world yet to really know if Kenrith would be a god that I had already been attuned to, that I would know how to pray to. If that were the case, I would probably read the many lore prayers that all the gods in the game have, or whatever. But almost like a sense of invitation regarding that. I felt a level of comfort in identifying the comfort of the mark on my hand and the way that I'm feeling, and the way that it almost feels like Kenrith had protected me from what I just experienced in that moment. So to be quiet, to hear the wind, to want to listen more, to get almost like my prayer is meditation in that moment.
Nice. So we see you kind of lower yourself down to the grass beneath the snow. The snow's thinner here on the side of the mountain. And the grass feels warm as you lower yourself onto it there. You quiet yourself, close your eyes, take a comfortable position, stable. You can feel the wind oddly gentle here. It shouldn't be. And after a few moments of quieting yourself, the wind ceases entirely. And you feel nature reflect your stillness. You no longer hear the pitter-patter of ice and snow melting. But you sense, with your eyes closed, in your mind's eye, you can almost see the blue butterfly returning. And you can feel the wind, that its tiny wing beats just kind of push upon you, cascades across your flesh. And you sense that you are in the presence of someone or something watching and listening. It doesn't hail you in any kind of way, but it is with you in that moment. Would you like to express anything in any kind of way here?
I mean, what do you want with me? What is this? Curiosity. Not, what do you want?
Yeah.
What is this? Like, yeah, just curiosity.
You hear its voice start to swell with the wind. The wind does return, carrying Kenrith's voice, and it says, "Must care as I care for you." And there's like a bassy undertone on the wind, and it reminds you of the boom that woke you. The wind's moving through the branches in such a way that it creates this thumbing sound, thrumming. You will be called to greatness. I will help you along the way. Do not stray from your destiny.
Where do I begin?
Return home. Your family needs you. I'll say two things happen. Your eyes, you slowly open your eyes like ice melting in the morning light, and you can see that the sun has fully risen now. The perfect, just orange flaming sphere in between two mountains, and it bathes you in sunlight. And then a gray plume of smoke rises into your vision from below. As you look downward, you can see that winter Whiterun is ablaze. Return home.
My vision?
No, this is, you have opened your eyes and you can see that Whiterun is on fire.
Holy fuck! That would snap me out of whatever I'm experiencing immediately. If I can see it. You said it's kind of like a speck, right? Small.
Yeah.
But I can see that it's a blaze.
Yeah, there's
Which
like
means
this
it's
one-
a blaze.
Yes, there's one thin jet black tendril of smoke rising from the city of Whiterun. And as you kind of take in the view, you can see clouds swirling in an odd way. And as you just kind of continue to assess, you stand up maybe, you see another thin serpentine tendril
No way, bro.
descend from the clouds, diving sharply downward like a blade thrown. A dragon. You see it open its mouth. It inhales part of a cloud, and then you hear the screech of its flaming breath, and it bathes Whiterun in fire. Swoops away. Your family needs you. What's your reaction?
A tear. I almost feel it in person right now. Shit.
The tear runs down and freezes.
Putting your own little flair on it.
What do you mean
old John Flair. I like it.
That's what I'm here to do.
It's keeping me interested.
That's good.
Nothing predictable about this. I'm very curious.
I love that.
I mean, what are my options from this peak? I mean, I'm going. I mean, I feel helpless. What's at the bottom of the? I can see the bottom of the mountaintop. So do I? Okay. Do I know where I am?
Yeah, you've seen this mountain a million times.
Am I in Markarth?
It's just another. It's one of the taller mountains on a ridge surrounding Whiterun. It's otherwise sort of nondescript. There are rumors of there being like a network of caves here, a barrow maybe even built into the side of the mountain.
Gotcha.
Maybe a network of passages inside the mountain. But these are all whispered rumors, like kids talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
The ominous like silhouette in the night sky. This mountain.
Okay, so I know where I am. Caleb and my character. If I know the top of this mountain, I likely am pretty confident with my ability to navigate my way down it. But I also know that it's about a full day's journey, right?
I think you could make it there in 6-ish hours. Full speed, straight down the mountain. Best you can.
That's
We're
fine.
talking about like a Skyrim mountain, so like
Yeah. Oh
you're
yeah.
just gonna like run down it probably. You know what I mean? I mean,
There's a way up
Sort
that
of.
mountain. Yeah.
yeah.
There are climbing paths, and
If you wanted to head down it, there will be.
I would immediately.
Okay.
I'm going towards home.
Okay. You stand up and just break for home. Yeah. Traveling down just the side of this mountain, snowberries like tangled to your left and right. You eventually, after about 10 minutes of quickly moving through thin, slippery snow, falling a few times, probably come upon the barest of footpaths, maybe set by the wolves that you encountered earlier, repeatedly moving around, whatnot. It's just enough for 1 foot at a time, one in front of the other, for you to travel down in that sort of fashion, and you do. I'm gonna need you to make an athletics check so we can get a number for how quickly and efficiently you're moving down. And I don't know, but maybe this is an inspiration moment? You don't have to, I just want you to remember that you have it.
Do I use inspiration before I roll?
Yep.
I don't use it.
Okay. Pretty good. Deftly you move down the side of this mountain. Heightened awareness, adrenaline pumping, fear for your family, for your home, for everything you've ever known, just propelling you forward. There's a point when you hit a like wall. This exhaustion starts to set in, but something about the cold air almost preserves you. Every breath in feels like a small drink of water, as the like cold air melts on your tongue. You sense the presence of your god now, carrying you forward. And as you move downward, the sun moves upward. After about 5 or so hours of moving, granted not at a full clip, fast and slow and as much as you can, you reach the bottom of the hill, of the mountain. The ground evens out, and you could almost just flatten and lay there and never move again. But the wind pushes you on. And when you arrive about 500 yards from Whiterun, there's almost nothing left of it from your view here. You have seen, as you move down the mountain and around it, through clusters of trees and such, losing sight of your home, gaining it, losing it again. The dragon making periodical like passes by. It's just kind of toying with Whiterun. And now that you've reached, relative close proximity here, it almost seems as if the dragon has had its fun. You don't see it in the sky, you don't sense its presence, you don't hear it screeching, you don't feel its wing beats. There's just the scent of your city burning. People who have escaped, like in sort of like refugee fashion, hiding away, crying. You can hear screaming from left and right. You can see guards, the Jarl's like sentries, trying to help. Seems we've moved into like a recovery effort stage here. The city walls are black, the color of death.
Man. I would be, like, I just imagine, like, the scene just, like, panning, almost like a movie, like, almost like a war movie, right? Where there's half-burned bodies and people extinguishing flames on their bodies, like, just the most devilish state that this city could be in, and like the fire like reflecting in my eyes as it pans to me, and like the devastation, and like I would just immediately be rushing home. I'd be like, no, like going, like, is my house in sight? Is my mother alive? I'm just looking, like I'm panicked, and I'm looking, and I'm hectic, and I'm seeing familiar faces. I'm probably seeing faces of people that I loved. Their house is just gone, or a corpse that is even unrecognizable. It could be my neighbor, and I don't even know.
Yeah.
But I'm just getting home. Like, I need to go home.
Yeah.
And I'm already, that sense of serenity is like, that switch is flipped, and it's just pure horror.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, it's worse and worse the closer you get to the main gates as well of Whiterun. The scorched earth around the city leaves little to be investigated. Everything is just charred and dust. You move up the steps around that like palisade that the guards perch on to question visitors, I suppose, anyone who enters, and it is eerily empty. And then you reach the gates, and they are not standing. You can see one hanging off of its attachment to the wall, about to fall and crush anyone or anything that might be behind it. Though, as you move into the city, it's empty there as well. The forge to your right, everything is burned to ash except for the stone, the kiln, which looks half melted by dragon flame. There's no water, it's all been evaporated. The buildings to your left, anything not made of stone, is gone. But your concern is your home. Where is your home in the city? Center, north, east, west, generally. We'll say you enter from the south.
Enter from the south. I would need to go to the square, or to the like the shop square. I would need to go east or west up the stairs to the common, town common, and then from there I would be to the left. So it's a straight shot, then a left, then another left. My house would hang in an empty spot, if we're talking the video game, in an empty place where it hangs between the entryway of Whiterun, where you have the shops and the guards keep, and the tavern that leads into the common that is just before the climb, like the 2-story climb to where the Jarl resides.
Yes,
So it's situated between the two.
moving through these areas is like moving through a nightmare of your childhood. You can see closer to the center of the city, scorched corpses, completely unrecognizable. Like jewels that they were wearing melted into boiling gold and silver. Horrid expressions on their faces, and you cut left and up the stairs past that sort of bizarre area up toward the temple, and when you reach the top of the stairs you feel a cold chill. The Temple of Kinnereth stands here, unburned. And then from there you look up to the Jarl's residence, and you see perched
Dragon's Reach.
Dragon's Reach, thank you. Perched atop the roof, a dragon. And the dragon is kind of like, its back is to you, its neck is hung over the rear of Dragon's Reach. It seems to be chomping at something. Occasionally it flaps a wing to stay centered on the roof. It hasn't left. It's still wreaking havoc, but in a more focused, not a wild.
I wanna like fully on like scream act it out, but it would so much be like bastard, like top of my lungs, like screeching, guttural, ripped my throat up, like getting it out, tears down my face, scream like a child dying inside. It's like screaming at this dragon that it's like I'm so unfit it might not even recognize me. Do I even see my house from here? Like, can I see?
Yeah.
Is my house gone?
It is.
I'm just like, I am like in agony, like screaming at the top of my lungs, on my knees, like beckoning this dragon with my dread, essentially. I mean, the sound of the flames, I'm sure I'm inhaling these flames, I'm sure the flames are louder than my scream, but I'm still, like, it's just pure shriek agony.
When you do so, when you shout, the wind whips in that same direction, a cold, icy wind that for a moment seems to quell the flames, but it feeds them, and the flames whip toward the dragon. And the dragon, like, kind of jerks to a halt. Its neck was kind of like almost feeding on something, but slowly the neck rises, and it turns and faces you. It's probably one of the most terrifying things you've ever seen, the face of this dragon. And worse, it seeing you. You hear the Temple of Kinnereth, the door, unlatch and open, and you see Danica Purespring, who's one of the healers there. She has many apprentices. She tries to get your attention. Would you go to Kinnereth's temple? Would you go to where the dragon? The Jarl is in Dragon's Reach. Or would you go home? Or anywhere else you can think of course.
So the dragon is on top of Dragon's Reach.
Yeah.
I look to my left. My house has been is gone. I look to my right, maybe behind me to the right, and I see the temple door with her inviting me in, the only building unscorched. And I see this dragon almost just looking into me.
The dragon's head, while you decide, it has like forked, spiked nostrils. Its teeth are crooked, long, and partially shattered on one side. You can see wounds on its face that have been cauterized by its own flame, caused likely in its assault on Whiterun. And one of its eyes is grayed over. The other one, bright, furious, and trying to pierce you. It lacks scales on its face, but as soon as its neck, sort of like where the neck attaches to the skull, these rigid, like furled out, unfurled scales kind of protrude like a wolf, like on alert. And it's gargantuan. It's absolutely enormous.
Do I notice all of that about the dragon as I stare at it?
Yeah.
Disguised as 3 separate bolts, I would like to cast magic missile on its one good eye.
Wow. Oh, and that automatically hits too. Describe. Give me the...
So if we can skin this as a little meta talk.
Absolutely.
So magic missile technically can be any form.
It can
of
look like
projectile
anything
you want.
Yeah.
So if my got my axe and I got my destruction, my flames. If fire bolt is one that hits directly or hits at feet and causes a 5-foot little bit of AoE. If it's in grass, it'll catch singe. If it's in wood, it'll catch on fire. Fire bolt, magic missile is fire bolt times 3. That doesn't miss. So it's like instead of just, it's like 3 after another. It's like, and they just go straight to the eye, just like full on, like pissed off, just like, I see you, you fuck, and I'm gonna blind you.
Yeah.
And just
and you
send
do
all 3 of
exactly
them
that.
right to the eye.
Out of your middle index and finger and your thumb, these 3 fire bolts erupt and they spin as if like trying to just like lock onto their target, which is this dragon's eye. And the dragon does not see this coming. Lacking one eye, depth of field, the sense of depth here is missing. And it also doesn't seem intimidated by this at all. What are you but a rat to this creature? But as you watch these 3 flaming bolts streak through the sky, you get the sense that it's gonna work. And you see the dragon smile, and you hear it boom this sort of laughter as the 3 missiles that you have fired kind of almost disappear like lightning bugs in the distance. This creature's so huge and far away. It takes a deep breath in, and before it can breathe out flame, they strike its eye. And instead of flame, it lets out a horrid cry. It pierces your ears when you hear it. And you can see its neck kind of whip back, and it flails in pain. It flaps its wings to take flight here. And as it does, it kind of starts to destroy part of the roof of Dragon's Reach. You see part of the roof collapse as this enormous dragon does become aloft. And it turns to you, unseeing now, its other eye completely black, burned. And as it begins to kind of beat its wings to fly toward you and away from Whiterun, it breathes in. Its screeching bathes you and everything else around you in dragonfire. You see it just kind of erupt from the creature's mouth, and then it becomes larger in an instant and envelops you in flame. You hear Danica scream, and as the flame encompasses you, you feel no heat. You look down at your hand surrounded by flame, covered in ice, melting, reforming, melting and reforming in the heat of the dragon's flame. And after an immense, intense few seconds, the flame is gone, as is the dragon. And there you stand, everything around you burning to coal, unharmed. And then everything goes black. You feel yourself hit the floor, and you feel nothing else.